Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Adriana and today I'm going to be posting a story time about how I found out I was pregnant at 16 and also how I kept it a secret for about 6 months just because I was scared of how people were going to react to me being pregnant or disappointing my parents. So yeah, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also leave a comment letting me know what other types of videos you guys would like to see on this channel. So I'm going to start off with how I found out I was pregnant. So I had actually been on the depot shot prior to becoming pregnant. I missed an appointment because I remember my mom trusting in me, letting me go to the appointment on my own, and I decided to use that time to go and hang out with my boyfriend. I remember it was February 13th of 2013. I wasn't, as I mentioned, I was on the depot shot, so I was getting my periods regularly. I had never missed a appointment, so I didn't know exactly how it was going to be. I didn't know if I was still going to get my period, if I was not going to get my period, or if it was going to be as if I was on the depot shop. So I remember not receiving my period that month of February. It usually would come like in the beginning of the month, I believe. So I remember not getting my period because it usually would come like in the beginning of the month, and at that month it didn't come. So I was like confused. I was like, oh, is it maybe because of the depot shot? Like, even though I missed my appointment, I still thought like it could have been because of the depot shot because it was so irregular at that time. But I also felt very fatigued after school. Mind you, I was a sophomore at the time. I was 16, so I was young, and I remember feeling very fatigued. I was always like hungry, and I just remember like feeling off. So I remember telling my boyfriend, like, I don't feel good. I think we should stop by and get a pregnancy test. So I remember going to the store, we bought a pregnancy test, and then I went home and I took it and I found out that I was pregnant. So I was in complete shock. I was like, wow, like it actually happened to me. Like, I knew I could get pregnant not using birth control, but I was just kind of dumb at the time. So I remember taking the test, and right after I took the test I was kind of like in shock. Like, I didn't text my boyfriend right away. I kind of just like sat on the toilet with the test in my hand and kind of like just started crying. I didn't want to believe it, so I had actually got 2 tests at the store. So I took the other test and I was like, oh my god, like when I took the other test, like, it came out positive as well, and I was like, oh my god, like I am actually pregnant. So I kind of like just sat there, and then I remember taking the test into my room with me and then taking a picture of them and then sending them to my boyfriend. That was about like, it wasn't too long, like I think it was like 20 minutes right after I had found out that I just kind of sat on the toilet and was like, wow, like I'm pregnant. So I finally ended up texting him and I told him, and then I remember texting him and being like, I'm pregnant. And he was actually with his friend at the time, and he was like, wow, are you serious? Like, he's like, wow. I think he just said like, wow, like in shock, like what the hell, like you're pregnant. um and I was like, yeah, like I'm pregnant. And so we kind of were both in shock. I think we were still going to school, so the next day we met up, and it was Valentine's Day, and we had met up, and I showed him the test, and I was like, look, I'm pregnant. And so we were both kind of, we didn't know how to feel. We weren't exactly sure what we were going to do, or how we were gonna tell our parents or anything like that. So we kind of just like kept it to ourselves for a while. I feel like my mom kind of already caught on to the fact that I was pregnant, and the reason was because on Valentine's Day, I remember they had just bought me the new iPhone 5, I believe it was iPhone 5 or 6. So I was like, and I was so excited about it, And I remember them calling me into the room, and they were like, you know, we got you this iPhone for you to have. They're like, but before we give you the iPhone, here. And they handed me a pregnancy test. And I was like, oh shit, like, okay. I was like, okay. I was like, why do you guys think I'm pregnant? They're like, oh, we don't know. We just have a feeling that you are. You've been acting kind of off. So just take it and then just bring it back. And so in my head, I was like, and then they gave me the test first before they gave me the phone. So in my head, I was like, shit. I was like, if I pee on this test, it's gonna like show up as positive because I had just taken the test before. And I was like, shit. So I was kind of scared. So I remember grabbing the test and I went into the bathroom, into my bathroom. And it had so my bathroom had two doors. So it had had a door to go into like the sink area, and then you close that door, and then it had another bathroom, another door for the toilet. So I went in there and I closed both doors because I was like, oh, like I don't want them to know what I was gonna do. So what I did was like I peed on the test a little bit. No, actually I think I peed, and then when I peed in the toilet, so that way it was like mixed with the water. So I obviously the pregnancy test came out negative. And so then I gave that one to them, and I was like, oh, look, like I'm not pregnant. And so then they gave me the phone. I honestly, like, now thinking about it, like I feel so dumb. Like I should have just told them right away when I found out I was pregnant. But at the time I was 16, I was scared, I didn't know what I was gonna do, so I kind of like just freaked out in the moment. Mind you, my sister was also a teen mom. I think she had had my niece Natalie at the age of 15. So I was just scared because my mom always told me, like, you know, you've seen what your sister has gone through, like, you enjoy your life, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna do this, like, I really want you to be like, I really want you to do something with your life. And I was like, yeah, like I know. I always kind of like knew that my mom always wanted me to, well, obviously nobody wants to see their daughters pregnant at the age of 16, obviously, because everybody wants their kids to be successful and succeed in life. I know many teen moms because I am a teen mom, and like, you know, being a teen mom doesn't mean that you can't be successful. So yeah, just putting that out there. But anyways, told my boyfriend, I was like, hey, like they made me take a pregnancy test, I think they're like on to me, I think like they know that I'm pregnant. And then he was just like, oh, like how do you think they know? And then I explained to him. So we kind of just kept it to ourselves that we were pregnant. I mean, we weren't sure exactly how we were gonna tell our parents. I wasn't sure. I was scared. So we ended up waiting a while. It was I think, I don't know how many weeks I was when I found that I was pregnant. I think it might have been like 2 to 3 weeks that I was pregnant. I waited a while. I had actually already gone to the store and gotten like my prenatal pills and all of that, and I hid them in my room, and I was taking them every single morning. Remember waiting a while to tell my parents and actually go to an appointment. So I remember the first appointment I went to, they had told me that I was already like almost 19 weeks. So that's almost like 5-6 months pregnant, and I was not showing that at all. I'll post a picture of the ultrasound here, and I'll also insert a picture of my belly at 6 months. I think it was the day that I went to my appointment. Right here, I am not showing at all. So I always wore big sweaters and stuff like that, sweatpants, that way nobody would know that I was pregnant. I waited so long to go to an appointment because at the time I was under my mom's insurance, so I didn't, for some reason I thought like, oh, if I go into like a clinic or something, they're gonna want my mom there because I was 16 and I was scared. So I remember pushing it off so much. So then finally I was like, you know what, it's becoming like way too much time. I need to make sure that everything's okay with the baby. So I finally made an appointment. I remember going to my appointment, and I don't know how, but I somehow had the insurance card, And I went into the appointment, and they were asking me questions because obviously, like, my first time to the appointment, they wanted to, like, know some background and stuff. And they asked me, they were like, oh, what's your mom's date of birth? And I didn't know exactly what year she was born, so I texted her and I was like, hey mom, like, for the project at school, I need to know your full date of birth. And she told me, and I felt so bad lying to her. And she told me, and then they took me back to the ultrasound, and they were like, yeah, like, you're this many weeks pregnant, and they told me that I was having a boy. Was so excited because it was a boy, you know. It's gonna be the first boy of, like, the family, for, like, niece wise, like, I only have nieces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 nieces. Actually, I have 4 nieces. At the time, I only had 2 nieces, but still, I was like, oh, like, it's gonna be the first boy, you know. Like, I was so excited. And so after the appointment, I remember still, like, we were like, oh, like, what are we gonna do? So we actually went to Ross, and we just started looking at baby clothes. I ended up buying, like, a bunch of baby clothes at the time. But I was obviously scared to take it home because I was like, oh, like, what if my mom goes into my room and, like, she sees, like, the baby clothes, like, what is she gonna say? So I actually just let my boyfriend take it home, and I was texting back and forth with him, and we were like, when do you think is the right time to tell our parents? And we were just kind of, like, discussing it back and forth. He decided that he was gonna tell his parents. I think it was like a week after we had already gone to the appointment. So he decided that he was gonna tell his parents, and I was like, yeah, like, if you want, you can tell your parents. And then I still had not gotten the courage to tell my parents. I think when I told my parents, I was either like 20 to 21 weeks. I remember telling my parents that I was pregnant. Well, I actually told my stepdad. He was kind of like in shock. He was like, wow, like, you are already so many weeks into the pregnancy, like, why didn't you come to us sooner? But I was just like, oh, like, I was scared to go to you guys and blah blah blah. And so then when I told him, I was like, don't tell my mom yet though, because I don't think that I'm ready to tell her. And he was like, okay. He's like, well, you know, you do have to, like, tell your mom because this is something serious, and it's something that we have to take care of you and, like, the baby and this and that. And I was like, okay. So I kind of, like, waited it off like another week. I think at this point I was either 21 to 22 weeks pregnant, and my stepdad texted me, and he was like, I'm gonna have to tell your mom now. Or he's like, I'm gonna tell your mom, or, like, we should talk about telling your mom. And I was like, okay, you tell her. So I was at school when he told her, so I'm not sure exactly how her reaction was, but I remember getting off the bus, and I, like, kind of already had a feeling that he had told her, and I was just so nervous. Like, I was like, oh my god. And I got inside, and she was sitting on the couch, and she was like, I walked in, and she looks at me, she's like, do you have something to tell me? And I was like, what? And then she's like, no. She's like, do you have something to tell me? She's like, just tell me. She's like, I'm not gonna be mad. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then she was like, just tell me. And I was like, okay, fine. I was like, I'm pregnant. And then she's like, well, how many weeks are you? And this and that. And then I told her, and then she's like, well, I really want you to be taking care of yourself, like, this is something that's gonna change your life forever. And she was like, have you been taking your vitamins? Have you been eating good? Have you been doing this? And I was like, yeah, mom. And I remember her crying, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh my god, like, I should have came to my mom earlier, because she wasn't mad. She was kind of disappointed, but she was more worried about me not taking care of myself properly, because mind you, I was only 16 at the time, so obviously, like, I don't know everything about, like, being pregnant. She has me, she has my 2 other sisters, and she has my brother, so, you know, she's obviously knows about pregnancy and stuff. So I was just like, I felt so bad because I didn't tell her before. I wish I would have. It's something that I regret now. I should have came to her right away as soon as I found out I was pregnant, which I did with my second pregnancy. She was the second person I told that I was pregnant. So yeah. Okay, so my camera ended up dying. So where I left off was that, yeah, I kind of regret not telling my mom right away, but my son is now actually 6 years old. I'll go ahead and insert a picture here. And then as far as how my dad found out, one of my sisters did tell my dad. So he just ended up calling me and we ended up talking. I mean, at this point I was already like 20, I think when they told my dad I was already like 25 weeks. So I was so already like late into the pregnancy. He was just excited that I was gonna have a boy, of course with a little bit of disappointment because I was the baby of the family. But anyways, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys would leave some comments down below letting me know what other types of videos you guys would like to see, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.